Eric Brooks, known to the vampire underworld as Blade, is a vampire-human hybrid who hunts down and kills other vampires as a daywalker. Being a daywalker means Blade has all the advantages of being a vampire: enhanced speed, strength, regeneration, but without any weakness to garlic, silver, or sunlight. However, Blade still can succumb to the thirst, forcing him to feed on the blood of the living until a serum was developed which allowed him to temporarily stave off the thirst while he hunted for those who made him the monster he is. Within the Blade series, there are 3 films as well as 1 season of a TV show which aired on Spike TV in the early 2000s. And while not starring Wesley Snipes as Blade, the television series is canon and takes place after the event of Blade Trinity. In this video, I will be using all 4 of these sources to determine just how powerful the legendary vampire hunter is. And just to clarify, I will only be covering the Blade film series and anything canon to that, so I will not be delving into the comics whatsoever, so just keep that in mind as we move forward. As mentioned earlier, Blade is a daywalker, imbued with the supernatural strength which makes him more than a match for any standard human and nearly every vampire that dwells in darkness. He goes up against the vampire god amplified Deacon Frost, Nomak, an ultra-powerful vampire variant known as a Reaper, as well as the most powerful vampire to ever walk the earth, Vlad Dracula, who in his fight with Blade tackles him into the earth, creating a massive crater. Of course, Blade not only endures this attack, but is able to match Dracula's incredible power until Dracula is forced to transform into his most powerful form. So, how impressive is this crater? Well, after being calculated, the force needed to create such an impact would be somewhere in the ballpark of 0.005 tons to 0.25 tons, or enough force to destroy a small building, putting Blade in a similar category to characters like Captain America, Spider-Man, and Black Panther if you're looking to compare him to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. After all, Blade is the first Marvel Studios film and sets the stage for the superhero cinematic golden age that we're in right now. As for durability, Blade's suit is completely bulletproof, allowing him to run through gunfire without issue.
Are you out of your damn mind?
And of course, his base durability would be similar to his attack potency, as he obviously had to endure the WWE body slam that Dracula hit him with. But not only did he endure this brutal attack, but he seemingly did it without feeling too much pain as he continued fighting immediately after this. So his durability and strength could be far higher than what we're able to calculate at this time. Additionally, he has various resistances that other vampires do not. Like I said, he's unaffected by sunlight, garlic, as well as deadly silver. And just as a side note, within the Blade universe, holy water and crosses do not affect vampires, so Blade would be unaffected by these as well. But what is probably most impressive about Blade is his regeneration. What would be typically deadly attacks aren't a problem, as Blade can completely regenerate from any non-lethal attack, and the only thing that could really keep him down for good would be a decapitation. As he has the same regenerative abilities as other vampires, we can get a better idea of just how much punishment he can take. In the first Blade film, Quinn, one of Deacon Frost's highest-ranking vampire commanders, gets his limbs cleaved off by Blade and his body burned to a crisp. But in just a day, he's able to grow his limbs back and regenerate his skin tissue, although it did take a few days for it to look like he was never injured in the first place. In the Blade TV series, Krista was impaled through the midsection by a large wooden stake, but eventually healed to the point where there was not even a scar left on her. However, she did have a little bit of help. So Blade, being a daywalker with all the advantages of being a true vampire, would have this same high level of regeneration, making it nearly impossible to put him down for good. As for speed, this is where things typically get a bit tricky, and the same can be said for the Blade universe. We have concrete speed feats of Deacon Frost and Dracula dodging bullets, which of course Blade would scale to as he's able to react to their attacks, making vampires within this universe at least supersonic, but topping out at supersonic plus, or in layman's terms, giving them reaction speeds of over 2,000 miles per hour. But there also exist hypervelocity silver stake guns that fire stakes at 6,000 feet per second, or 4,100 miles per hour, but unfortunately no one is seen dodging this weapon, so bullets will have to do. But, as I mentioned a bit ago, the speed scaling isn't that simple. Within this universe, Blade is armed with various ultraviolet light-emitting gadgets, and in Blade 2, we see Blade and others reacting to these light-speed attacks, making them far faster than simply being able to dodge bullets. However, this is pretty inconsistent, and I wouldn't consider these feats an accurate representation of just how fast these vampires can react. And I should probably mention that there are liberties taken with various light speed dodging feats. Obviously, in this scene, the light is reflecting off of her face before she even dodges it, and she is a vampire, and this is UV light, so it would actually kill her in this instance, but she dodges the blast, which is carrying the light. Regardless, it would be a light speed dodging feat, but we wouldn't be able to see it if the light didn't illuminate her face, right? The screen would just be black in this case. So there are various liberties that are taken when going about showing these light speed dodging feats on screen. And while it should be a legit feat, I think it's just more consistent for the high-end vampires to be bullet timers and not light timers in this universe. And while Blade is incredibly strong, durable, and fast, his biggest advantages come from his skill and the equipment he carries, which sets him apart from the hordes of vampires that he hunts down. Blade is, of course, extremely skilled in armed and unarmed combat, and while he favors using his customized titanium acid-etched blade in battle, he can also fight hand-to-hand. Having been trained by the legendary vampire hunter Whistler for years, Blade is a living weapon, and he's just as deadly while unarmed. Thanks to a fantastic video done by Godzilla Rex, where he analyzes Blade's fighting style, we are able to safely say that Blade has proficiency in Shotokan Karate, Hapkido, Wushu, Shaolin Kung Fu, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Aikido, Silat, Capoeira, Wrestling, and Shuriken Jutsu, not to mention that he's extremely proficient with all manner of firearms. And he uses his incredible skill to take on some of the deadliest vampires to ever live. He's able to fight two members of the Blood Pack simultaneously. The Blood Pack are a highly skilled elite squad of vampires who were trained specifically to kill Blade. Not only this, but he's able to defeat their leader Reinhardt pretty easily. He can duel Dracula on even footing, and Dracula, as I mentioned, is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful vampire to ever exist, and being the first vampire, lived thousands of years, tearing his way through the world, conquering entire civilizations. However, he struggled to keep up with the legendary Daywalker. And while Blade's skill is seemingly unmatched in a fair fight, why even fight at all if you can prevent it? To that end, Blade is equipped with all manner of deadly weaponry and gadgets designed to kill vampires. Of course, he carries with him his iconic blade, but he also has various firearms loaded with stakes, silver bullets, garlic extract, etc. He has vampire mace made with silver nitrate and essence of garlic, an Assassin's Creed-style gauntlet which is loaded with an anticoagulant which will cause vampires to explode, a garrote wire made of silver, which is eventually fitted with a bladed tip similar to the functionality of Daredevil's Billy Club. He has various throwing knives, and multiple light-based gadgets which act as a nice substitute for the sun. And now that we've discussed his skill and equipment, let's discuss his various abilities. So not only is he enhanced with superhuman strength, he is also deadly silent. He's able to land so softly that he literally makes no sound.
Who are you people?
My name's Abraham Whistler. You've met Blade.
He has enhanced senses, not to the level of Daredevil, but still impressive nonetheless, able to hear sounds the typical human can't. and he can smell blood from thousands of feet away, allowing him to better track vampires as, they typically have some sort of blood on them. They're pretty messy eaters. But if a vampire is particularly good at blending in, his sunglasses can read temperatures to determine if his target is human or a creature of the night. Combining his unmatched skill with his supernatural abilities and seemingly endless armory, Blade is a living nightmare for any vampire who dares cross his path. And by the time of the second film, Blade was considered the vampire's greatest enemy. They hid in fear from the Daywalker, as anyone who met with Blade had no chance of survival. And that's all I've got for you guys today. Please let me know down in the comments if you're excited for the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Blade, or if you thought they should have just brought Wesley Snipes back, because honestly, who can do it any better? Be sure to also like and subscribe. It does really help us out. And of course, remember the motto, it's Blade over everything, and I'll see you guys next time.